to another episode of Strictly Education. I am your host, Dr. Tahhira. Today, Strictly Education is on location. We are on Long Island at the Westbury High School. Westbury High School is the host of the 2025 Long Island My Brother's Keeper Summit. We have convened school districts, 10 school districts at that, across Long Island to come to Westbury High School to learn, to be empowered. The theme this year is Empowering Brotherhood, Building Legacy. I have the honor of meeting with the keynote speaker for today's symposium, Mr. Trey Baker. Mr. Baker is an amazing young man. You are only 22 years old. Mm-hmm. You are spoken word artist. You are a published author. You are an educator. You are the special advisor to the Obama Foundation under My Brother's Keeper. You have done all of this at the mere age of 22. Who is Trey Baker?
Thank you so much, Dr. Chase, for having me. I think Trey is someone who's multidimensional, someone who loves deeply about not only just my community, but love of people, love of humanity. And through all those titles that you listed, through language, through mentorship, through education, the calling upon my life is to bring humans closer together, shrinking the proximity of us to really get to know one another on a deeper level, so that language, so that our spirits can be better aligned to get us going the right direction. And so I think I'm using all those things to help forward that mission.
Wow. So I want to just build on something you said. Mm-hmm. At 22 years old, you're talking about a calling on your life. Mm-hmm. The average person doesn't even understand what the calling on your life really means until 40, 50 years old. Mm-hmm. How do you know what that calling is? And what is that calling?
Yeah, I think there are a few things that we have to get prepared for to receive that calling.
Okay.
I think for me, I had to realize that I had to have an open mind to what it meant to be a young black man, and not fit in a box of what society tells me I have to be. But I also have to have a full heart.
Yes.
And as my grandmother would say, you can't just be a great orator. You have to be a great listener.
Yes.
And throughout my journey, I had to listen to what my elders were sharing with me. I had to listen to what my peers were. I had to listen before I could announce what I was going to do, or what that mission was. So for me, it starts with listening. It starts with listening to your surroundings, listening to not only what the Creator is telling you. I'm a spiritual person.
Yes.
And so it's that intentional listening that has allowed me to understand what that calling is.
Sure.
And be moved as such.
Sure.
To match the moment.
Sure.
And that moment to me is making sure that no child doesn't have access to an equitable education, that no black and brown young men can't reach their full potential. And through the power of mentorship, through language and storytelling, I've tried my best to listen in order to connect those dots and fulfill a mission worth living for.
So I want to just touch on the storytelling, and I want to build on that just for a few minutes. You talked about the power of storytelling, helping other people to actualize their own visions, right? And seeing themselves through storytelling. How does that work?
Yeah, I think first we have to realize that we all have a story inside of us, and it takes putting pen to paper to really realize the things that we've been through, the lessons that we've learned, and how we can use that to pass that on to the next person.
Wow.
But also learn more about who we are.
Okay.
And so I think it's starting with that
Yes.
belief that we
Yes.
do have a story to tell.
Right.
But then also seeing yourself in stories that recognize your story as well.
How important is it for young men to know who they are?
It's so important. Because I think particularly in our current society, right? We have social media. We have so many things that are speeding up the pace of not only our young men's attention spans,
Sure.
but also distracting the things that are natural to them. And I think that it is so important to know where they come from so that they know where they are going.
Wow.
And to be curious and to ask questions and not just simply wake up like we're just an accident.
Sure.
But that
Sure.
we do have greatness
Right.
inside of us.
Right.
But it takes that level of curiosity to start understanding where that greatness comes from.
Wow.
So that we can know where we're going.
So how does a program like My Brother's Keeper how did it help you? Because you were a young My Brother's Keeper
That's right.
participant,
That's right.
a graduate. You've been elevated, obviously, because you're now a special advisor to the My Brother's Keeper Alliance.
Yes.
But how does this particular program help young men to find themselves? How does this program help young men to find their voice? How does this program help young men to be successful and walk on this path that you're walking on?
Yeah, I think at the center of what the My Brother's Keeper Alliance and its programming is trying to obviously inspire, empower, and connect boys and young men to reach their full potential, but the things within them, I think, number one, breaking down the stereotypes that particularly Black and brown young men experience. Not feeling like we can be vulnerable, not feeling like we can be stoic and regulate our emotions. That we can exist in multiple forms. We don't have to fit in a box. And the conversations and the dialogue that is facilitated through MBK allows us to realize that we don't have to just be one version of ourselves. We can be multiple things. We can be at multiple places all at once. And sometimes we push away that complexity, but MBK brings that to the center.
Wow.
And allows us to ask questions about it. Again, be curious about that, and fulfill a life worth living.
Wow.
We're not just here because we fell on the face of earth. We're here because we're supposed to be here. And we have an obligation and a responsibility as young Black and brown men to lead, to love, to listen, and to learn. And I think MBK is so foundational in so many of those principles and aspects that has not only impacted me, but equipped me with the tools to then pass that on to our young men who are coming right up the chain to fulfill their calling.
Why just young men of color?
In our society, our boys and young men of color are statistically, are emotionally on the lowest totem pole. And there's a sadness.
That's hard. I looked at you. It was hard for you to say that.
There's a sadness in that, but we can't hide from the truth, and that is the truth. However, the good thing, the good news, is that we have a mechanism like MBK to recognize that our Black and brown young men are not just a deficit; they're an asset. They're not a liability. If as President Obama would say, if our boys and young men of color do well in our communities, so does this country.
That's right.
And we have to think about it that globally, that holistically. That the young man that we impact is not just for that community, it's for that state, it's for our country, and it's for our world. And because we have been historically left behind in so many ways, there's opportunities for us to really explore and reimagine what it means to be a young Black and brown young man in this century with purpose.
With purpose. One of the tenets of My Brother's Keeper is the allowance for mentorship, right? Mentorship is so very important to not only our young men, but also our young ladies as well. Right. Who mentored you?
Yeah, I gotta give a big shout out to Chris Crater. He's now leading our milestone impact work at the Obama Foundation, and leading the work of MBK Chicago. When he joined the foundation, he was the first person to bring me into its programming, And he was we met through a family friend, a mutual uncle, and that was the first black male educator I had ever had in my life, other than my father. And to be seen in such a way where my lived experiences were being shown in a mirror to me,
Yes.
in such a powerful and profound way. I felt that I felt like I needed to be more, that I had more in store. And he was the person that really opened up the door for me to see what is possible, and how to remove the barriers that can seem invisible, like we make up in our mind, particularly as black and brown young men, and remove them and find a way to continue to push forward, to impact change. He always says, when you enter a room, you got to take up the space.
That's right.
And so he showed me the way to take up the space.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. And so are you currently serving as a mentor to young men? How many young men are you mentoring now?
Lord have mercy. I get the honor and privilege of serving so many MBK communities across the country. And so I'm sure it's hundreds and so forth, but I think the most beautiful thing is finding, MBK is really focused on building those cross-sectional partnerships between county governments, between school districts, between community partners, and bringing young men from different sectors of our country, different sectors of our counties and communities and states together, as we're doing here today at the symposium. And that's the most beautiful part for me is facilitating and organizing opportunities for our young men to meet in the middle, meet at the center, and realize that we have so much in common that we do different, and the things that we do have differences in, we need to explore those. Because there's some things that we can lean into to help us find what it is that we are being called to do. So that's I think that's the greatest joy of what I get to do and serve in this beautiful MBK family.
How fortunate of you to have found your calling at such a young age. You've written a book. You're an author. Tell us about your book.
Yeah, well, so it's coming out this year in September. The book's called When I Look Up.
When I Look Up.
It's a children's book with Scholastic. Extremely grateful for that family, and just the work that we put in to help tell the story. And it's inspired by a moment that I had with my father when I was young and struggling with my identity, and went to him with all these questions and doubts and desires of who I was going to be. And he took me outside. It was a summer night and the stars were out, and he kind of chuckled at me. You know how sometimes how your elders do, because they know what they want to give to you, but they want you to find it first. And he told me, just son, look up. And it showed me that you can take all your doubts and desires to the sky. That sometimes the natural world can't give us what we need, so we have to look to something greater.
That's beautiful.
And I think we have so many, particularly children and young men, just looking down. Whether that's we're looking down on our phone, we're looking down because we're afraid to introduce ourselves, we're looking down because we're insecure. And my hope is that with this children's book, it allows parents, it allows schools, it allows children to remind their selves of what it means to look up. And what do we see when we look up. And so I'm grateful that Scholastic has been such an incredible partner in bringing this book together. So
and you're starting with a children's book. Why with children? Why not a book for adolescents? Why not a book for adult readers? Why a children's book?
That's such a great
looking up.
Yeah, that's a great question. When you look at the data, there's not a lot of children's books that represent young black and brown children. And by the way, these stories should be read by all children, because all children need to know about all people. And seeing that data point and realizing that our classroom libraries are not fulfilling the incredible diversity of our incredible classrooms and school communities, to me, it was necessary to be a part of this literary movement, to bring stories that look like us, experiences that are shared, to children, to allow them in their most earliest stages of development to realize what it means to look up, but also see a character that looks like them and is looking up.
And is looking up.
And so I think that connection, I think, really spoke to me and made a children's book perfect,
So
for this first book.
Oh my goodness, so positive. Remind the Strictly Education audience once again, when will we expect to see this book?
So you can definitely expect this book in September this year.
Perfect.
Super excited. In alignment with that, we also have the Scholastic Rising Voices collection, which is featuring the celebrating Black stories and Black narratives, and again, just an holistic collection that allows all children to understand where our history comes from, and see characters and representations of themselves, so they know, that who they are and who they're trying to be is possible.
And I love how you speak so affectionately about your father.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's
my
just
guy.
That's your guy. He has got to be so proud of you.
Yeah.
You're just an amazing young man, and you also are a reflection of your dad.
Wow. Thank you.
You are a reflection of him, and make sure
he's 72 years old, and when you have somebody in your life who can reach back that far,
yes,
he's given me so much wisdom, so much lived experience, that in who I am, as you said, he speaks through me, and I love him with all of my heart. He's everything. I'm so grateful for both of my parents, who have really shaped me and molded me. And by the way, both have education backgrounds, and my great grandmother on my father's side was an educator, and my mother's an educator. So I had no choice.
So this is in your blood. You come from a line of educators.
Yes,
Look at you. Look
yes.
at you. What's next for Trey Baker? What will the Strictly Education audiences expect next from you?
Absolutely. Well, as we said before, you can definitely expect the children's book coming out this year.
Okay.
But also continuing to be on the road and not only continue to empower and inspire our boys and young men of color through the My Brother's Keeper Alliance, but also that other side of me, the poet and the spoken word artist who is continuing to tour and perform. I get to work with incredible brands like the Seattle Storm. We have the WNBA season coming up in the summer, so I'll be working with them, using poetry to help tell a lot of their storytelling campaigns for this year. We've got some merch coming out with poetics used in a really cool way. So
nice.
So we're touring, we're performing, we're in the classroom. We're gonna be continuing to give back, to our incredible children.
That's awesome.
And we're gonna continue to build.
That's awesome.
We got work to do.
We've got work to do, and this work requires us to collaborate with corporate, right? With our faith-based organizations, with school districts, right? Coming together for the betterment of our community. Because when we all work together, we become that village, right? To help bring these children to where they need to be. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Your spoken word.
Yes.
Freestyle? Or
you on freestyle right now?
I was going to ask you. That's how we're going to close out, right? We're going to close out with a little freestyle. I'm just wondering, do you freestyle?
I got you.
Okay, well let's give the audience a little something.
So this is one of the first pieces of poetry that I did in an arena setting.
Okay.
So it goes a little something like this. When I turn on the TV, they telling us what we can't be. Well, I'm telling you what we can be. We can be messengers of the free, love each other and still disagree, 'cause love is the key. I'm on my Frankie Beverly, so before I let go, I want to give you something for your soul. I drop jewels in the ocean, metaphor and motion. My elements are earth, wind, and fire. I've got devotion. Purpose is my promotion. My grandmother Gracie touched me through the heavens. She said, grandson, you chosen. On the mothership we landed. My P-Funk expanded to another planet. They forced me right, but I played it left-handed like Hendrix. I spread this throughout the universe. Sometimes you gotta be the first, but never the last. This is my master class for the soulful ones. Peace to the purple one. Like when the moon comes between the sun, my soul becomes ecliptic. There's a natural mystic flowing through the air. I cast my pearls inside my prayers. I choose hope, not despair. Look around, it's beauty everywhere. I must say, be grateful for every day, for breath is moving. We are the breath of the movement, searching for what's real. Keep on pushing like Curtis Mayfield. I never thought talking to each other would be something we feared, but connection is ideal so we can heal and learn from one another.
All right.
Listen to each other. Wise up and choose peace. See joy increase. Kids dancing in the street with books to read and healthy meals to eat. Style your smile and make it last a while. When it starts within, hug someone and see your spirit shine again. I was born to spread the gospel. From Morocco to Chicago, in my ancestors I follow. Poetry is my ensemble. In this novel, we will prosper in each other. We will foster the light we carry. So when you count all the tallies, rock all the rallies, from the mountain to the valley, we are the human family. Peace.
Oh boy, what a powerful message of hope.
Thank you.
What a powerful message of unity and hope. And this just comes from the top of your head.
That's right. Yeah.
So you have found your calling, young man.
Yes.
And I am so very proud of you. And I'm positive that my Strictly Education audience equally as proud of you.
Thank
You're an
you so
amazing
much.
young man.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving us your time. Thank you for inspiring young people. Thank you for giving us hope at a time when we most need it. You are amazing, and I know there's so much more in you that we have yet to see. Suppose I'm a young person and I want to follow you. How do I do that?
Absolutely. So feel free to follow.
Or even not just the young ones, even us,
Come on, I get right.
some seasoned ones.
That's right.
Okay.
Or any social media platform, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, at Trey M. Baker.
And that's Trey.
Trey, Baker, Baker.
Yes.
Feel free to follow me on all those platforms. All of the work that we have the honor of doing is on those platforms,
Awesome.
and I use them as an opportunity to be able to share the progress that we're making and the progress that we're going to continue to make.
You are absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to see what you're going to continue to do in the future. You thank your parents for me. You thank your parents on behalf of the ancestors. They have done a magnificent job with you.
Thank you so much,
And
Dr.
I mean,
Chase.
you're really an amazing young man. I've watched you on the stage several times now for the past year and a half or so, and each time I'm more and more impressed. So thank you very, very much
Thank
for
you
your
so
time.
much. Thank
I
you,
know
Dr.
that you're
Chase.
about to inspire another 150 young men who are here from across Long Island. You have some workshops that you're going to do, and I don't want to take up any more of your time. Again, on behalf of my audience, I thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chase. Thank you for everything that you do. We honor you, we celebrate you, and we can't do this work without you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.